let's start the podcast.
I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
What the hell's going on out here? Ow! Ow!
You ready to go?
I'm ready, baby.
Do it.
I'm ready. Let's do this, mofo. Two L's, one pod, the podcast from the spin-off series, The Two Dicks, 1950s Detectives, politically incorrect, black and white on YouTube. Check it out. Tentatively shooting a brand new episode in the coming weeks. Well, maybe a month, 2 months. I don't know.
Well, great.
We're working on it.
All right.
We're working on it. We got to hear back from Keeney, see if she's available.
She is available. I have heard back from HK.
All right, we'll go over the
And
details
HQ.
in a moment. I'm Al Ducharme. I'm on the, what ship is this that I'm on right now?
Couldn't tell you. What are you?
You're home. You're in
I'm home.
Clearwater. You're
I'm
in
home, baby.
Clearwater.
Home base.
I'm on the
yeah.
Harmony of the Seas, and I
Harmony.
have 27 shows in 2 weeks.
It makes me laugh because you see these like open micers on Facebook and they'll do 2 shows a month and they go hashtag grinding. And you're like, this guy just did 27 in 2 weeks. That's more shows than you'll do in a year.
Yeah,
you're
pretty
grinding.
much.
So,
And mine are all paid.
Yeah.
No freebies.
that's right. That's
Although-
right. Even
although-
prorated. You get
yeah.
a prorated one too. You get an extra.
If you want, you have the option of saying, hey, you know what? I want to try out that new bit tonight that I've been working on and go down on a Tuesday night
Yeah.
and hammer it out. Now, have I done that lately?
How many?
No.
I was going to say, how many new bits are we hammering out at this point? Let's be honest. If I get a new line added to an old bit, I'm fine.
Yeah.
At this point,
That's
a new
considered-
word.
That's considered
A new word
act.
in there. I'll be like,
That's
wow,
a new
I
act
worked on
for
that
me.
bit. Have you heard that bit? There's a whole new word in it. It's pretty good. Yeah.
It's so funny. Last couple of comics I work with, hey, they go, hey, here's a tag for you. You interested? I go, yeah, bring it. From Season Comics, I'm like, what do you got?
Right.
No, I don't want to, I don't want to be that guy. Go be that guy for a second.
Yeah.
And 2 of them gave me each just little taglines
Some
and whatnot. I'm
keep it.
like, oh,
That's good.
keepers. I tried them out. They worked.
It's nice when they work. It's nice when the guy you kind of respect them too, because the worst is getting it from a guy you don't respect, and then he's like, "Hey, I got something for you," and then you don't do it, and then he's like, "Hey, you didn't try that bit."
Oh,
Well, I have to explain to you, it's not funny, but yeah.
well, it
But
could
I'll
even
take
be
a
funny if
tagline
someone else is.
anytime.
Yeah, but if someone else is doing it that fits their persona and all that, it could work. It just, if you're not feeling it,
Right.
And I
Yeah.
tried a few things and I had to drop them. I just wasn't
Well,
feeling it.
Well, I was feeling it over at Diddy's fucking freak-offs parties.
Yeah, you know what?
Looks pretty good.
My
the hell?
invitation must have got lost in the mail because
Mhm.
everybody's been talking about it. Are you going? I'm like, no, I didn't get invited. Or-
What kind of defense is this guy going to have? Because they pulled all the tapes before they arrested him, so they've seen everything. Then they arrest him, and
He's-
there's no. What can you say? I mean, you
He's
just can't-
him and R. Kelly. They're going to be across from their cells, aren't they? How many years did R. Kelly get?
I think he got. I don't know. I want to say life because I think
20
it was
years,
life.
easy, right? 20
At
years of
least.
life.
Yeah, 20 to life, but he's 40 something, and yeah. So, his
These
was
guys-
different though. That was
These guys are so successful, so wealthy, can have anything they want. It's not enough.
that's what they want though.
They got
want
well,
really
yeah.
wild
but the God
fucking-
complex
Yeah.
takes over like tenfold. It's just like, can you have
Yeah.
these, eyes wide shut sex parties? Yeah, you can. But if you start taking sex workers and you go over a state line, that's called sex trafficking. Doesn't
Right.
have to be underage. It's
No.
just once you take them,
Well, that's why it took years. They got the whole RICO thing, like a real mob case, with other states, and it's just weird though. Like I don't understand. I get people
go
enjoy
local.
sex.
If you're gonna get
Sex is
paid
fun.
sex workers, go
yeah,
local.
but sex is fun. But what is going on? Like, why is it always so gay? Why is everything? You know what I mean? Like this guy was saying he was at the party and he didn't. He goes, I don't want to say names, but it was 2 very, very famous male actors, very, very famous. And he goes, I walked in and they were butt fucking each other. And he goes, no one would ever know. No one, they have wives and families. But like, why is it that always? You know what I mean? Like that fucking level of debauchery.
Well, first of all, question. They were butt fucking each other. Isn't it usually one's receiving, one's giving?
Well, I guess he saw him butt fucking, and then maybe the other guy turned around and did it to him. I don't know. It wasn't a detailed article, but
I need some video.
Yeah. And that Usher, supposedly, he was part of this whole, he was a victim.
Well, you hear that all the time. These people, they run out, they've had everything. So all of a sudden.
But still, I could have everything. I still don't really want to butt fuck someone.
You don't know what your brain's going to do and going, you had everything, and now you have this urge to do that.
That I have this urge now to butt fuck men?
Well, I don't know, but we'd have to change the name of the podcast.
2 L's, 1 pud. I don't understand.
I think I turned red. I'm red. Look, I turned red.
But then it's like The Sopranos. I remember because Kelly's watching The Sopranos from episode 1. It's on the computer, so then I'm listening to it. Then I put on the TV because it's so good and you want to get addicted. But they were talking about prison, and Tony kind of was like, he's like, well, I'm not gay, but he goes, it's 5 years or 7 years without sex. That's what you do. And the therapist was trying to be like, well, it's gay. He goes, no, it's not gay. It's just needs.
Well, isn't that
explaining
like
that
many of these countries that I'm not going to say which countries or what religions, but where the men will go to war and that's a part of their thing.
Men go to war.
Well, because they're away for years at a time. So they're all around men. So
no, I mean, that doesn't just break out.
Isn't it like the Trojan Wars and all that stuff?
I was in the Navy and I never. There it comes. There it comes. Give out the whistle and the go do it. Come on.
No.
All hands on deck.
That's not what I was going to say.
Yeah. Well, that's what people.
All hands on Romas.
What's my point? Anyway, no. So it never once. It wasn't like, oh, I there are no women here. I should look at this guy and,
well, you guys are looking for
tonight.
Well, there's a certain percentage of people that are gay.
Yeah.
And then there's a percentage of people that are bisexual. And then there's a percentage of the straight people.
Nowadays, did you see they added letters to LGBTQ? They've added letters to it. More letters.
More letters?
More letters, and it ends with a plus sign.
I've seen the plus sign.
What the fuck? Yeah. No, I don't know.
I think I'm going to embrace my old schoolness. And when it gets to a certain point, I'm very open-minded. And then I'm like, you're just beating it over the head now. It's just like, come on. It's I have no interest.
No, that's the thing. I
don't care, but I'm annoyed at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't care. I mean, honestly, I'd never be like, hey, that's weird. I don't give a fuck.
It's like, I don't care. Meaning like, do whatever you want. I just don't like,
do it quietly.
You have to care. I'm like, I care, but I don't care. I mean, do whatever you want,
right?
But just don't whack me over the head telling me how to think.
Well, I like the old days because you had, 2 guys getting it on, but they were quiet about it. And I'm sure they didn't like it because they were in the closet, but that's where they should be. Stay in the closet. I don't have to hear about it. I don't give a fuck. Bang away. Enjoy your life. Just don't tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? Well, LGBTQ plus.
Again, I'm not quite that far, but that you are. But I'm just saying it doesn't need to be a part of my daily dialogue.
It's
there.
Right.
I'm well aware of it. It's
right.
I was in theater in college, and it was
I bet you were
very apparent because gay men could let their hair down and act as themselves, and it was just a part. It was a part of the fabric.
I'm just wondering if he let his hair down or not. Oh man!
But it was, they were singing show tunes and whatnot.
Goddamn right they were. I love show tunes. I mean, I do. I grew up
too.
with it.
I've gone to many musicals on Broadway. Was part of my college curriculum. We would go twice a year, or 3 times a year to New York City. We'd charter a bus and the whole theater department would go down. We go to a matinee musical and then a drama or a comedy at night, and then we saw Cats.
Yeah, I never saw Cats. I'm not that gay, but you know, uh, we grew up in a time when there was no, internet, obviously, nothing good, and our parents were, from the fucking 40s or 30s or whatever. So they played that kind of music. So I grew up listening to Fiddler on the Roof and Man of La Mancha, whatever these musicals, Oklahoma. And then you get older and you realize, oh, that's gay. But as a kid, I just thought, oh, it's music. I like it. It's nice. Then you get older and you go, hey, I was listening to Man of La Mancha last night. And then a kid punches you in the throat and calls you a pussy. And, you cry. So
And then you join the Navy.
that's right. God damn it. How dare you? All hands on dick. Hey, I had another Uber thing. Miami.
Are you recording this stuff?
No, but I should.
You got to get a hidden
actually.
camera or something, and you can blur out their face.
This one was partially my fault, I guess. I got off the ship early. It was like before 7 a.m. So, in that the port, it's dark out there because there's a covering, there's a roof. And so it's pretty dark. And then you get an Uber and it's like 5 minutes or whatever, a black Cadillac, whatever. They're all the same cars coming at that hour. So every car is the same, all black Escalade or whatever, Cadillacs. So I'm waiting. And then the guy writes, where are you? I go, Zone 5, right in front of Zone 5. And he goes, I'm here. So I go, great. And then I hear this weird accent, but I hear, Alan. It sounds like Alan. So I'm like, all right, so I look at the guy and I didn't look at the plate, but I look at the guy's name. I go, Robert, whatever, say Robert. Was it Robert? And he goes, yeah. I go, great. And I throw my bag in and we fucking start moving about a mile or two, and then he goes, how you doing? Good cruise? I go, yeah, it was, good. Thank you. Yeah, good. He goes, all right, so you're going to Fort Lauderdale, and we'll be there about 35 minutes. So sit back, and I go, Fort Lauderdale? We're going to Miami, rental car, Miami airport. Well, he had the wrong passenger, and I had the wrong driver. So now we're about a mile away from the pickup spot. His guy is texting him, where are you? Why are you leaving? My guy is texting me, where are you? And guy kind of pulls over a little. He goes, what are we going to do? He goes, so I go, well, just take me to Miami and I'll pay you cash. And he goes, I know, but he goes, I can't cancel this. I got to pick this guy. I'm here. I go, well, I don't know. What do you want to do?
They cancel on me all the time.
I go, what do you want to do then? I go, we're a mile or two away. You want to go back and drop me off and pick up a guy who might not be there? And he's like, no, I don't know what to do. And I go, well, I'll just pay you cash. We're already going. Let's just continue going. You will get cash money from me. And he was like, okay. Like he was going to get fired or something. And I'm like, it's fine. I go,
they charge you $5. I think they charge.
And I go, the other guy's already calling another Uber. And he goes, you're going to get charged now. I go, don't worry about it. I'll be okay. And I went on the thing and canceled it. And I guess because I do it so often there, they were just like, okay, you're fine. Didn't take the $5. The $5 was sent back to me or whatever.
Oh, great.
But so then I get there. What would you pay the guy? What do you go for? Because the Uber was at that hour, it was going to be $19.
From where to where again?
From the ship in Miami to the airport in Miami.
Oh,
it was a $19 Uber, but now we're not on the Uber. We're not anything. This guy's upset. What are you giving him?
Well, first of all, if it's $19, he gets 50% of the ride. So is that $19 flat, or is that all of the fees? Because if he's only getting half of that, $9.50 would go to him. Correct?
Oh, I don't know. I
mean, that's what I understand. From what I understand,
$19.
Right. Yeah. I'm just thinking he was going to make $9.50, but he might have to pay a penalty because he canceled the $5. So he'd be making like $5. So I'm thinking $20 to $25.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just quickly off the top of my head. Where are you at with the numbers?
Well, I had $35 cash. I gave him 30.
Oh, that's pretty generous. I was going on the lower end. Anything more than
Yeah.
that is, yeah, he made out like
He
a
was
bandit.
upset. I mean, the guy,
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
tell he was a perfect, like his car was immaculate. He had extra charge cords and
right.
mints.
He didn't
He
want
had
to
all the
lose. He didn't
setup.
want to lose a fraction of a point.
No. And he was upset. And I could
Yeah.
tell. And then we both made a mistake, though. So it wasn't like he wasn't
Right. It
yelling
was
at
a
me.
mutual. Right. Right. So
So
what
then, I just gave him, I figured, well, $30. And then he goes, it's still early. I can get back in that line and get another fare. I'm like, what does that say? Set up podcast, 12:40. Oh, yes, everybody else, an hour behind Eastern Standard. So at 1 p.m., I texted him and said, hey, fucker, where are you? And then he wrote, shit. I turned the clocks back.
They did 1 hour.
Which is ridiculous on a ship. I mean, where'd you go? Cozumel. You don't need to turn the clocks back. Stay on ship's time.
Well, we were,
You'll be fine.
we started out in Houston and then we went down to Cozumel and then we went over to Nassau, a day at sea in between. So it was a little bit, we were way east and then Coco.
Right.
So we were
Wow.
2 days way east.
Right.
That's why they did
So
it.
you turn the clocks forward tonight?
No, we already turned them back. You understand what? Yeah, we went back.
Back. For Houston.
So I was thinking, I got some time here. And then
right.
Are we doing a podcast? 1 o'clock.
That's how I sound. Oh, bye.
Yeah, this all set up by now.
That's
and then
right.
we had another issue. I updated my laptop with Sequoia, the latest software update from Apple. And that just sent my computer into all the programs were all needed to be updated.
Took 20 minutes or so to get started, but we did it. Episode 301 underway. We roll with we're like REO. We roll with the changes, and someone used to have that. I think it was John Shipman had that great joke about he saw REO Speedwagon. He saw REO Speedwagon performing in Pennsylvania, and it's kind of weird to see them sing "Roll with the Changes" in front of 800 Amish. Something like that.
That's a good joke.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's a funny joke.
Funny joke. Did you watch the ball game last night? It was the Patriots versus the New York Jets.
I did.
I hope you enjoyed your run.
We communicated a little bit, messaged one another. Yeah, right. It was more painful than I thought it was going to be.
It's over for New England for a while.
Yeah. And of course, Rodgers is gelling. He's playing like he's 30.
Great.
He's 34. He's still one of the top.
He's amazing for that age.
He releases that
ball. It's amazing. It's amazing.
What is he like? 2.2 seconds? 2.3
I don't know
seconds?
what the numbers are. I love it. He just rolls a little to the left or right and just flicks it, and that thing's going 40 yards on a dot. It's pretty good.
To be a really good quarterback, you have to be able to. Your mind is trained to see 4 things, 5 things at once and make split-second decisions. And as you age, that gets more difficult. But the Tom Bradys and the Aaron Rodgers and a few others you can throw in there are able to maintain that high level of efficiency in their brain. They're superhumans. It's not the norm.
No, it was great to watch because my quarterback for the Giants obviously is a disaster. But it's amazing to watch someone who's like that good at the position because it's such a hard position.
Oh my God.
And you see this guy and you go, wow, that's really good. Like that's how it's supposed to be done. Yeah, that's good.
That's why it's so hard to find them, It's
very hard. And that's why that's what wrecks the teams though. Because if you get that guy, you got to pay him
all the money and then you're weak. All the other positions are weak unless you get lucky. Hopefully someone's going to develop out of that. And, that's why, Belichick was so good at picking players, seeing that light, seeing that potential and getting the best out of them, many players and making the right moves.
That's the rumor though, if the Giants continue on the path they're on, the big rumor among Giant fans is we're going to bring Mr. Belichick home.
Well, a lot of people are.
I don't want it. I'm going to put it out there right now. I don't want it. I don't think because he's 70, what, 3 or 4?
I don't know. His girlfriend's 24, but he is 70. Is he 71?
No, I think he's older than that. And he's got to he's going to be wants to be the GM. And he's going to draft a young kid. He's not that guy to mold a quarterback.
No,
It's not.
That's
He
10
needs to go
years
to
ago.
he could go to the Jets or something and ready to win. But he's
not. People were
you know.
saying that should he go to the Jets?
I don't think he can with that history. Remember, he had the Jets job and he quit.
Miami.
He walked on them. Miami, are they ready to win though? They don't have a quarterback.
He walked off because he had been assistant coach and defensive coordinator for so many years. He had 2 Super Bowl rings for being on the Giants.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
The opportunity came.
Yeah.
I mean, he did what was his position when he went to, was it Cincinnati? I don't remember.
No, he was head coach at Cleveland.
Cleveland, that's what it was. Yeah.
But he took the Jets job to be the head coach and then quit in the last 23rd hour, walked out, didn't want it. And then.
Well, because Parcells went to GM, right?
No, because Parcells, he was the coach and he resigned.
Okay,
and they gave it to Belichick. He was defensive coordinator.
Oh,
and
that's what it was.
The last minute, Kraft swung in there.
Best decision of his life.
Yeah, but it's weird too. Not to get off on a sports podcast here, but they were winning with Pete Carroll, weren't the Patriots? I mean, you guys were winning. Not Super Bowls. You didn't have Tom Brady, though.
Decent seasons. Yeah. I mean, Pete Carroll brought a lot. He came from the college background, university background. But that Brady Belichick formula with all those other players and the murderers that were playing for the team. I mean, that combination.
Have you watched that docu?
No, it's disturbing. Just the trailer.
Is it a documentary or is it a?
No, it's a movie. There is a documentary and a movie, both.
Okay, because I saw the documentary, so this is a movie. Someone's playing them.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see. Yeah, I gotta watch that. I want to watch the other one too on Netflix. They have Menendez, the
Menendez brothers.
The brothers. They have a movie with Javier Bardem playing the
father. Yeah, I saw the clip for that. It doesn't make the father look very good.
Well, I think there's quite a bit of anal sex in there between him and the boys. That's why they had to kill him. I'm just saying. Why do you look so stunned?
Because there's a lot of anal sex, men butt fucking on this podcast.
That's the
theme.
Oh, yeah. Well, each show has a theme, and this show
we've gone off our regular.
I know. Can you hear the rain? It's one of those classic Florida. The sun is booming out there, blue sky, and over our condo, it's raining. Just you'll get this for 5 minutes, this rain, and then it'll be done, and like it never happened. But I'm wondering,
I can't wait. I can't wait to go see you. I can't wait for you to do your poems in public again. That was nice. That was beautiful.
My poems.
Yeah, aren't you doing the poems? Like,
what poems?
Aren't you going to one of those open mics where you write poems and then you read them to the audience?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have my friend plays upright bass, and it plays while I speak my poems, speak my truth, motherfucker. That's right. And the sky is blue, and it rains on you when you're in my condo. And you're in my heart. The rain then starts when you fart. I got to work on it. I was going to go there. See, that's the difference. I pulled the plug on the word fart.
Well, you're the opener on the closer.
You jumped right in there with the fart. And that's why you're doing 27 shows on the Harmony.
That's why.
Yeah. Ugh, 20. Wow. So you got 2 tonight and 1 tomorrow. Is that what's left?
2 tonight and 1 tomorrow.
Yeah. I know that look. You have that glazed over
this
look.
Non-drinking for 2 weeks that you got me on.
It's horseshit.
You inspired me. It's
awful.
What the hell?
Well, you got to live on gummies. You got to do something.
Oh, I see. That's what it is. You son of a bitch. It's so funny. After my 3rd show, I usually like to have a beer just to like reward myself and chill out.
Sure. Sure. You
So
deserve it.
I walk up to the bar. The guy goes, "Can I get you something?" And I just went, "No, I changed my mind." And I just walked away. I was just like,
Yeah. Hmm.
which is like, I'm not in the mood now.
Well, that's the difference. Because when we were younger men, were you ever not in the mood?
No. And that was,
I mean,
but I almost felt
the
like,
idea of that's like I'm not in the mood.
I almost felt
Just
like
drink,
it was
pussy.
a preconceived thing I planted in my brain. Hey, when you do 3 shows, you deserve to have a beer.
Oh,
This
right,
one's for you and all that. And then I'm like, I don't feel like having one.
right. Yeah, well, that's
If
good.
if I was hanging out with you or something and we go smoke a cigar, I might grab something.
That's good though. It's
But I was like, I don't have to have one. If I'm in the mood, I'll have it. And if I'm not, I'm out of
right.
here.
I remember Mash Hawkeye thought he had a drinking problem, and then for a couple of weeks, and then he was like, I never had a problem. And they go, "You want one, Hawk?" He goes, "Oh, I need one." And then he stops. He goes, "You know what? I'm not getting it." He goes, "I'll be back tomorrow night when I want one, not when I need one." I
That's
was
what
like,
I'm saying.
"Oh,
That's
that's the same
profound.
thing."
And I
There you
think
go.
I was getting into that area.
That's what I'm saying. It hit me when you were saying it. I was like, "That's fucking Mash and Ellen Alda." But yeah, but it is. There are. I mean, I don't do it as a has to go. If I'm on with somebody who's and they're like, "You want a drink?" I'll get a drink with them
Yeah.
if I like them. But if I'm just by myself, it's I don't want it, and I get sick of spending so much money on these ships.
What is your that bill at
Gets
the
a
end
little
of this
crazy.
thing? Yeah,
It's
the
terrible.
internet and
Yeah, with nothing,
the tipping
nothing.
automatic tipping when I have the guy come in twice in a week.
Right.
I'm walking out with my
Exactly.
garbage barrel, my garbage can going, "Can you empty this for me?"
Yeah, $18 a day. It's so stupid.
I'm doing the work.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's like those tipping things we were talking about. It's like, well, I told you. Did I tell you where it was at Fusion down at Clearwater? Did I tell you this? Oh, I don't remember now. Where I
Tell
don't
me
think
again.
so. I don't think so.
People don't get this far into the podcast. Tell it
That's
again.
true. That's true. This was 2 nights ago, so no, you have not heard. So I go in there and I buy a cigar, and Kelly and Teddy were down at the beach, so we're just going to sit, have a glass of wine. I'll have a little nub. And the guy's like, "Hey, man, how are you?" I go, "Good. Good to see you." He goes, "Oh, it's been a while." I go, "Yeah, busy." So I pick up a couple of cigars and I give it to the guy. And
you give it to the guy. Hold on a second.
Now,
did you change the subject?
We're staying on the theme of ass
the butt fucking.
So, yeah. So I gave it to him good. And so anyway, I do it. You know how they have the cutter right there. So as he's talking to me, I cut the cigar myself.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "You need me to light it?" I go, "No, I have a lighter." So he puts the other two I bought in a bag and hands it to me. I give him my card, and then he turns the machine around for the tip.
The tip.
I mean, I'm generous with shit, but he did nothing. Zero. I didn't even cut my cigar. That's $1 or $2. You cut my cigar. It's the etiquette.
Because 85% of tipping these days for something they're getting an hourly rate, wage that's more than $2.50 or like a waitress wage.
Well, he's not even a wait. He's the cigar
counter.
Guy,
it's automatic now.
So I didn't tip. I hit 0. No. And he flipped it around, and all the friendly little banter we had was gone. He turned his head and looked the other way, and I just took the bag, and I was like, and he gave me my card. The card was on the table. I picked it up. I go, "All right, man, thank you." Silence. Wow. It's like, why would say my bill? Say it was $19. What? Even if it was 10%, why am I giving you $1.90? For saying hello to me?
I'd round it up to $2, but yes.
But
if he cut it and lit it,
that's it.
Yeah.
And it's etiquette. You throw a buck in the jar if a guy cuts your cigar or lights it, or
everywhere
but to
now,
do nothing.
My question is this: do the owners take a vig from a percentage of their tips because it's credit card? So are they getting 75 cents in the dollar, and then the owner's getting 25? So then their incentive is to push for that and say, "Hey, guess what? Our numbers we're making an extra $7,000 a month."
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I just, again, if you do something, I have no problem, but you do nothing at all. And then I'm supposed to tip you for saying hello to me. That's all I did.
I love in Europe they go, you don't have to tip or just 10%. They don't expect it.
Right.
And then, Americans,
Yeah,
we all over tip. They're like,
oh yeah.
But it's not even like, thank you so much. The most of my European experiences have been like, all right, you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Weirdo. You fucking weirdo American.
I was in Italy a month or two ago. It was that same thing. I'm tipping them, and it wasn't a thank you at all.
No, it was like,
it was almost like I'm an idiot. Like, why would you do that? Why'd you pay me more than you're supposed to?
I have
like, all right.
Socialized medicine and education is paid for. And in a lot of those countries, you get basic medical and, basic education.
It's basic, all right.
Well, what I'm saying is, and then if you want the better stuff, you got to pay a little bit of a premium. But in the UK, there's a lot of people that can't afford to go to college anymore because they changed that a few years back, where they were basically paying, I don't know what the percentages are. Say they were paying 75%. They dropped it down to 50%. And all of a sudden, 3 million people couldn't be educated. So now the prime went up,
Yeah.
It all factors in and connects.
Can you hear this, Rain? You can't. I almost can't hear you in my ear. That's how loud it is, but I don't think you
your
can hear
shitty little cheap mic. I know it's the second one you're on. Is actually very good. And
I have another one. I have another one just in case this one craps out. I'm the only one who supports this company. No one else is buying these mics.
I'm buying the $300 one.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone's buying these things. They go, we got that guy from Florida's back again. He bought another one. Oh, good.
Guess who bought this for me?
What's that?
Guess who purchased this microphone for me?
I'm going to say your wife.
And Paul Francis Riley.
Oh, I see. Yes, through his Patreon donations.
Yes, his generous Patreon donations. Thank you, Paul, very much.
Yeah. Well, I could have bought a mic last Sunday. Buccaneers, Tampa Bay was playing the Detroit Lions in Detroit, and the Lions were getting 8 points. And I was so fucking sure that the Lions might beat the Bucs. They're not beating them by 8 points. I got to take some money, go to the Hard Rock, put it down. And I didn't. I did not, because I had the numbers wrong in my head. $1,000 bet. I told it to Kelly. She was like, well, what would you make if you win? And my head was on the money line. So I said 1,000.
No.
And she was like,
I told you $8,000.
Right. But I was thinking money line. I didn't think. And then, of course, the bet came through. And then she was saying, I would have went with it if I knew it was 8,000. Like, what? I don't know if I believe that.
I gave you the information, though. Why didn't you? You didn't feel like going down there after that point?
That was already too late.
Oh, okay.
That was during the game. That was, but
close.
Because in Vegas, the last times I've always bet the money line. You know what I mean? Because see no points. You just go, $50 on the Giants, and if they win, you get $50, and you have 100 now. Mm-hmm. But so $1,000 bet, $8,000, but 8 points.
I think you told me it was 8,200. I said, "Is that like $8,000?"
Yeah,
and you said it's 8,200.
Yeah, I know. I mean, 8 points is a lot of points to give.
You said
now,
that.
Again, I say
you said
that.
That's a lot of points.
I know. But then you say that, then I would have put 1,000 down. They blow them out by 40. So who knows?
Yeah, but if they don't.
Right. I know. It sucked to be on that end of it where you go, I was right and I did nothing. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? But that one I was sure, like, there's always one game a year you go like that. Like even last night, the Jets were favored by 6. I thought that was pretty good. Like Patriots suck. Jets are home. Rodgers.
Yeah.
But
the whole thing is,
I didn't feel it.
Yeah. But his whole thing was he was coming off still from his injury. That's the first home game from 1 year ago when by the way, at 39 years old, he's 40 now. He'll be 41 in December. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Having that year off was probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I
possibly.
mean,
I
I
know
think
he's
it's a good.
aged. It's an extra, but I'm thinking overall, his body has fully, fully healed.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. It would be good, like if he took a year off, maybe. I don't know about having a,
An injury.
Achilles,
No, I understand, but
that kind of thing.
you got to
But I
remember
get what you're
he
saying.
was coming off from when was his last game? Was it in January of the previous year? And then he went to summer camp, did some workouts. I mean, he was obviously training
Right.
privately, and then the injury, and then just down for the count until whatever spring starting to.
Yeah. The only thing with him, I mean, he's great. I mean, no one's denying it. But when they put him up there with those, and you go, he has one ring. That's the
I know.
only knock.
Marino has none.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the thing. Like Eli Manning's up for the Hall of Fame this year. And people go, he's not a Hall of Famer. Like, if you look at his stats, the real stats, he's had 1 million interceptions. He didn't lead the league in anything. But when he was in the playoffs, he's like 17 and
Right.
4. And
and 2 rings, two different teams.
And the best team maybe of the last 50 years. And he engineered drives to beat them. The Pats were undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the Super Bowl undefeated. And he figured out a way to beat Brady twice. I mean, to me, obviously, it's a no-brainer, but people like, he's not a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he is. He'll be in anyway, so it doesn't matter what anyone says.
Mm-hmm.
And his nephews looked pretty good last week in college.
I saw them. They look like Manning's boys. They're like robots.
Uh-huh.
They're like Terminator.
I know, and he got wheels, and of course the timing sucks because the Giants are going to need a quarterback next year, so we're gonna miss out on the Arch Manning.
Maybe he'll be a backup, and then someone will get injured, and then he'll come through and shine, just like Brady did.
Well, we don't know. So you're at what is tonight? 2 shows tonight.
2 shows tonight in this world of show business.
How are the shows going? 27 of them. Are these good shows, killer shows, shows?
I had 1 and 1 dud so far, and the rest have been surprisingly very good. It's so weird. You're like, when you have a dud, you can be like, oh, these fucking people are going to suck all week. And all of a sudden,
right,
you go to the next one not expecting anything, and they're like, wow. And you're like, oh, I guess I can still do this.
Do you find in the comedy club on the ship, the first night is often the best night?
The last 2 cruises, yes. Why? Not the best night, but surprisingly good, seeing that it's a travel day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because the show we're doing shorter sets, we're doing like 20, 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing 15. I have a feeling like they're still excited energy to go to the comedy club.
Mm-hmm.
So that works. It's the second night of the cruise where I feel like it takes a dive.
Well, that's a formal night usually. And
they're not
find
acclimated.
And those
nervous.
people to me are just checking a box. Like, we're going to go to comedy and then we're going to go this.
We're going to do
They're
photos.
not really into comedy. Yeah. Yeah.
I get a kick out of seeing these like blue collar guys wearing a suit. They have one suit. They wear it to funerals. They wear it to weddings. They wear it on the ship. And they wear it maybe every couple of years. And they're walking around. You can tell they're just like uncomfortables. And the suits are not, they're not tailored.
No, and they're 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah, they're just like walking around, and they just feel awkward.
Yeah, well, that's what I don't.
Trying to act like I wear these all the time.
But that's how I was feeling. I used to wear a suit on the ship, back in the. And I just felt like I don't feel funny in it. I'm not comfortable. I don't want to wear this thing anymore. And thankfully, it's changed now where you can really be as casual as you want. But I just find a suit like that is for comedy.
Yeah,
I feel like that guy. I feel even though my suit fits, but I don't like wearing in the on stage.
Right. I wear a sport jacket, a little loosey here and there. But I used to do a lot of corporate shows, and they would say, you got to wear a suit. I did comedy in a tux. I'm a physical comedian in a tux. It was ridiculous, and they paid me very nicely. But I'm like, I don't want to do any more of those.
I've never actually when I did the Radio City with Cosby, that whole thing, I wore a tux that night.
Ah,
But other than that, never. In I don't think I ever wore a tux other than that comedy. It's kind of weird. It's like that's like the Catskills, and those guys. You think of a guy bombing and pulling at his bow tie and
yeah. I think
sweating.
I was like 28 wearing a tux,
That's so stupid.
round tables, dinners. It's just like, I'm not that
Uh,
guy. Yeah.
uh,
And again,
yeah.
it paid
What
well,
happened to
but
those gigs? Those
oh my
gigs.
God.
What happened to those? I meant
Those are
round
my cruise
tables.
gigs. I used to make
Yeah.
cruise money in one night on a
Right.
Wednesday at a
Ah,
Marriott.
man. When I moved to Florida, there was a
We got a podium for
shitload. I
you.
I was driving to Orlando, and it'd be at the Hilton or the Hyatt in Orlando at 7:30, and home by 11 with a quite a nice check. Uh, they're gone. I mean, those days are just. I don't know who's doing them, if anyone's doing them, but not me. I haven't had one in a long time.
I remember I think I was like 30, 31, and I was doing a college tour, and I was doing like 28 dates, and some of them were nooners in like 30 days. It's all throughout the Midwest. And then I get a call from a buddy of mine. He goes, "Hey man, comedian dropped out. Can you do this?" And I had 3 days off, and I was staying in Colorado for 3 days. He goes, "Can you come to Miami? They'll fly you down first class." It was for like Morgan Stanley or something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they'll put you up. They gave me a suite. They flew me down first class and paid me thousands of dollars, which I for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Those
And then I went
those were
back to
good
my
days.
college tour, making killer money, and that's
Yeah.
that's how I was able to support my cocaine habit.
Yeah. Well, it worked, and I guess it still goes on. I mean, there's still, colleges and there's shows. I don't know who's working them. I mean, I wouldn't know now at this point, the comedians and what the money is and all that. But anyway, there were good days when they existed.
Well, you just think, oh, this is how it is, because you have a few years of that. You're like, oh, now I'm going to make even more,
Right.
and then more, and then I'll, if I break through and become famous, it'll be crazy. But this is really good money for down here. And all of a
Right.
sudden, why am I making equal or
Right.
less amount 15 years later?
Well, you make exactly. If anyone's in comedy or show business, there's always these things you can look back on and go, "Well, that was a mistake." You know what I mean? Like there's one, like every comic or actor has that couple of things where they just go, "Yeah, that." Looking back, I would do that very different, and I would have made the move to LA or whatever it is. You know what I mean? That was an error, but in comedy too, a lot of it, and a lot of I did it, and a lot of people have a similar story because you're making money, so you're kind of not in the head of the career as much as I used to make $50 a week in comedy. Now I'm making 3,000 or something with colleges, and I want to continue this.
Yeah,
I want to be a headliner in clubs, and but not seeing the big picture. That
well, also
you really should be in LA doing spots and that kind of thing.
I had so many years where it was a struggle. I was completely 1,000% dedicated, working on it, meeting with people and trying to get signed and agents and reps and da 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 da. I'm just struggling financially, like I'll eat spaghetti for another day, 4 days in a row,
Right.
5 days in a row, all that shit, the struggle.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you break through a couple of levels, and all of a sudden it's
Right.
like, oh, okay, this is a nice lily pad. Where's the next one?
Yeah.
It's hard to give that up, but
Yeah.
there's plenty of comedians that don't make it.
Right.
Struggle.
Well, that's the thing too.
They're
What's
the
the
artist,
level?
and now where are they? They're dead, or they're
Well,
like
that's it. Each
dire
level, though, you have
straits.
to look at each level of. There are comedians who look at you and I as very successful. You know what I mean? There are comedians who look at whoever, but I know guys who I started with. They're in their car with a pole in the back, hanging with their shirts hanging off, and they're off tonight. And they probably might sleep in the car, or they might get a room at the motel. Shit, whatever. So it's different, but I just remember like certain moments where you go, "That was a mistake." And I remember certain comedians listen, like in New York, Ray Romano, Rory Rosegarden was his manager. And I was at Stand Up New York for a week with Ray, and he told me, Rory was like, what do you have coming up? And I told him about my couple of colleges and some clubs, and he was like, you should just stay here in New York. Really. He goes, I know there's money, but he goes, you should just hone your 10 minutes. And he goes, even if you have to get a day job, fuck it. But it'll be worth it. He goes, that's what Ray did. And I was like, to myself going, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, but Ray had
I'm making $3,000
kids at home.
Sir.
Yeah, I know.
But he's right. He was right.
He was right.
He was 100%.
But Ray
then I might have got a Letterman or something, and then you go from there. And this is the mid '90s. So,
but Ray was ready.
There were moments,
from what I understand. I was around in the periphery. I was younger, but I saw him and Kevin, starting to move up. But Ray was, living in his in-laws' house or his parents' house, twins. I mean, he was motivated.
No, they had the house. They bought the house.
They bought the house.
Yeah, they lived across the street.
So it's all based on his show.
Right. Yeah, I
do remember him coming in from Queens, running around doing sets, because I was down at the Boston Comedy, and he would come in once in a while, and I'd throw him up there. Yeah,
he did stand-up New York, comic strip, and cellar. But I have his business card, and it's hilarious. It's just Ray Romano, comedian, and then his Queen's phone number. I should put that on eBay. Get a few bucks.
You should
get a few bucks. Yeah, man. I'm drinking my. Look at that. Doesn't look good at the bottom there. This was a good smoothie, but a lot of flaxseed and chai seed and all sorts of shit to keep me alive.
2 podcasts ago, I was doing the same thing, and you rode me for 10 minutes about, what are you drinking that shit for crying out loud?
Yours looked like, what did we say it was?
Kermit poo.
Yeah.
It was green.
Kermit.
It had super greens.
This is berry. This is some nice dark berries.
It's berry. It's dark berry. It's lovely. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace. I'm working with Orson Welles.
So long, man. Have a good trip.
Iceberg, jaded. Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The2Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the 2 Als, 1 Pod podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What? Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
All right.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Go to patreon.com/the2dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.